All right, we're getting started here. Let's see. We're going to go live. Go live, baby. Come on. All right, we are live. We are live. Okay, we're live now. All right. Yeah. Time to get them started. Okay. Come on. Yeah, the bloody hell. Oh, come on, man. I don't got time for that mess. Yeah, sorry I'm late, y'all, but I'm here. All right. Hey, hey, Sherry. Brother Vaughn. All right. All right. We're getting started now. Okay. Let's see how this camera is working. Got to get it right. Got to get it right. Okay. So I get it over a little bit. Yeah. So my phone's kicking in. Changes up in there. Good morning, my children of the sun. Welcome to the Open Eye. Sorry I'm a little late. Life happens. What you going to do? But I'm here. And I'm here to get it started. Yes, indeed. I'm here to open that third eye for you. This is Patrice Gibbs, your third eye optometrist on the Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM. All right. You know, being that I'm late, I'm just going to go here and go right on in and go right on in. I know that there's been violence on the street this week. You know, I've been seeing people saying, well, we can't deal with Black Lives Matter until we deal with, until we realize that Black Lives Matter. Okay? You have to understand what goes on with the violence, the root causes, and what have you. You have to take this thing into the proper context in order to deal with it. Okay? Look at the U.S. justice system. U.S. justice system is punitive for profit instead of being real rehabilitative for progress. Offenders are saddled with fines they have no means of paying, being blocked from gainful employment, and are forced to turn to the streets to earn. Not only for survival, but to maintain their freedoms. Catch-22. The paradox, endangering freedom to maintain freedom. That's crazy. Thus the high rate of recidivism. Return offenders. The market share in illicit drug consumption is constantly shrinking, making competition lethal. The pressure to survive, maintain freedom, and respect street cred results in violence. That's just one of the causes. There are so many aspects to this that we could go over. I could cover a whole show with the causes of violence beyond black on black violence. And stop saying that. That's a distraction. People commit crimes based on who they're closest to. People commit crimes and violence in the vicinity that they're in. You don't hear anybody talking about white on white violence. And good morning, Bessie, my co-worker. All right. There's D. Now, don't think that because we're dealing with police brutality that you don't need to maintain your safety during this pandemic, especially considering how incompetent the Orange Disasters Administration has been in dealing with this pandemic. They seem to have learned nothing. Now they're calling for kids to go back to school. Right away, next month, August, September. So they can get people back to work. Now, the pandemic is dangerous enough to let some of the corrupt officials that had gone to jail behind dealing with the orange disaster out of jail. It's, they had to bring them out of there because of the coronavirus. But it's safe enough to try to open back up the economy and send kids back to school. The hell out of here. Now, here were the new cases worldwide yesterday. In the UK, the United Kingdom, Britain, 516 new cases. In Germany, 298 new cases. In Italy, 208. In Japan, 206. In Australia, 137. In Sweden, only 57. Denmark, 47. Norway, 11. The United States, 57,209. Come on. This is what you get when you put an incompetent moron in office. This is what you get. Give me a second here. This is Open Eye. I'm Patrice Gibbs. Big ups Paul Blaine. Right. Get my watch party going. WHGE 95.3 FM, The Open Eye. The Open Eye is brought to you by the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets. The founders and builders of the Pearl Center, the veteran-specific apartment building. Delaware Center for Homeless Vets. Changing veterans' lives all over the Delaware. Okay.
The views and opinions expressed on the Open Eye are those of the hosts, guests, and contributors, and do not reflect the policy or position of WHGE 95.3 FM or our sponsor, the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets.
Got a little bit of a different setup going in here this week. That's all right. Got a new computer, so hope things are working well. I see see one of my boys on there. Let's see. Dear white people, I'll tell y'all something. Candace Owens, Ben Carson, Larry Elder, Jason Whitlock, Herman Cain, Clarence Thomas, Avita King, Thomas Hull, Tim Scott, Diamond and Silk, oh my God, Darrell Scott, Paris Denard, Jesse Lee Peterson, Herschel Walker have zero credibility with black people. We don't listen to racism apologists who make you feel good about your bigotry. And of course, still dealing with the police brutality here in Wilmington. Oh, today at 11, there will be, it should be going on right now, in Rodney Square, let's call it Garvey Square. At 11th and Market Street, there is a rally for Bam Bam Dole. That's going on right now. All right. Good morning, Sharon Wynn, down in North Carolina. How you doing, sister? Old friend. You know, of course, and I spoke on it last week, that there have been funds found. Yeah, Wilmington Police body-worn camera funding is moving forward. You know, Mayor Pazicki, Chief Tracy, Council President Shabazz, and others support budget amendment to fund the local match for the program. Listen, I hope the mayor's office and president of city council don't get to take credit for the body cameras being amended or approved in the city budget. City council members Sam Guy, Dash Turner, Rashima Dixon, and Trippy Congo have been fighting hard for this for a very long time. The credit belongs to them. Thank you for putting the community first. All right. Now, of course, with the protests going on, the mantra and what have you, right on, Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter because all didn't cover black when y'all said all men are created equal. Black Lives Matter because all didn't cover black when y'all said with liberty and justice for all. Black Lives Matter because y'all still struggling with the definition of all. And that's why we say Black Lives Matter. You know, I like what my man Tariq Nasheed says. Maybe we need to switch over from saying Black Lives Matter, which is the slogan, which is the hashtag, which has been become an organization years ago, became an organization that should not be confused with the protest shout Black Lives Matter. And for that reason, maybe we need to say, no anti-black racism. We need to change that. Let me tell you why. The truth about Black Lives Matter movement, I want to thank my Facebook cousin and good friend Sherry Bryson for bringing this to my attention. I mean, I was aware of the actual organization, which is funded by white liberals and what have you. Okay, this is like I said, the shout out Black Lives Matter during the protests. The truth about the Black Lives Matter movement, they are not in support of cisgender males or in keeping together the traditional family structure of the straight black man and woman. I want to give you an excerpt from their page on what they believe. In no instance do they include father in the dynamics. This is what they say. We are guided by the fact that all Black lives matter. See, all Black lives matter. That's a distraction. Regardless of actual or perceived sexual identity, gender identity, gender expression, economic status, ability, disability, religious belief or disbelief, immigration status or location. We don't need to say all Black lives matter. That's a distraction. We know what we mean when we say Black Lives Matter. We make space for transgender brothers and sisters to participate in me. This is not about splitting up black people. This is not about focusing on someone's sexual preference, this, that, and the other, because white supremacy don't give a damn what your sexual preference is. What white supremacy cares about is that you're black. That's some more on before that too. All right, I'm gonna go on with what they say. We are self-reflective and do the work required to dismantle cisgender privilege. Cisgender privilege, what the hell is that? And uplift black trans folks, especially black trans women, who continue to be disproportionately impacted by trans antagonistic violence. That's BS. That is BS. It's a very small amount of the violence that takes place against black people. And I don't just mean the physical violence, I also mean the structural violence. And when I say structural violence, I mean discrimination in housing, discrimination in education, discrimination in economic opportunity. This is such a crop. We build a space that affirms black women and is free from sexism, misogyny, and environments in which men are centered. All right, I'm gonna deal with you. We practice empathy. We engage comrades with the intent to learn about and connect with their context. Yeah, y'all way the hell out of context. We make our spaces family friendly and enable parents to fully participate with their children. We dismantle the patriarchal practice that requires mothers to work double shifts so that they can mother in private even as they participate in public justice work. We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement by supporting each other as extended families and villages that collectively care for one another, especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable. Like I said, you hear anything about fathers in there? We foster a queer affirming network, LGBT. See, when we gather, we do so with the intention of freeing ourselves from the tight grip of heteronormative thinking, or rather the belief that all in the world are heterosexual unless she, he, or they disclose otherwise. See, this is that black male hatred. This is that black toxic masculinity crap that does nothing but bring division to our people. See, the Black Lives Matter organization was founded by 3 lesbians. Now, I have no problem with who you choose to be with. But don't get that mixed and think that that's our fight. Because who you choose to be with and what you're protesting against as a LGBT member is the right to practice a certain lifestyle. We as black people, when we say Black Lives Matter, no anti-black racism, we are fighting for the right to survive. Understand the difference in that. It makes me think where I first heard the term black toxic masculinity. What this is the ideal that black men are oppressing black women. See, they played that game on us in the early 70s with the women's liberation movement. Sisters, that was not your fight, and this is not, and this LGBT thing, brothers and sisters, this is not your fight. Our fight is against white supremacy and the survival of black people. The war that is being waged on us, the genocidal activity that is being waged on us as black people, no matter what your sexual preference is, no matter what your family structure is, no matter who you lay with, and whatever, because it's about your dark skin. That goes if you got one. Let me get with that. Well, let me deal with this black toxic masculinity. The first time I heard that, it came from Issa Rae, who was a HBO star, and she went from being a YouTube star to getting a series and a couple of series on HBO. Issa Rae, don't get it mixed. I'm sure she got some fans out there. But Issa Rae is an enemy of the black community, specifically and especially straight black men. This Negro-pean big wench advised black women to explore and pursue relationships with Asian men instead of black men because, in her opinion, masculine black men are toxic and unsuitable for marriage. See, that's that crap. What is black toxic masculinity? According to Issa Rae, masculine straight black men are misogynist, abusive, unworthy, and primary oppressors of black women. No, we not. We are not. She. Any black man that behaves as a man, carries himself as a man, and displays no hint of moistness is toxic. I'm sure a straight black man is the worst thing in the world to Issa Rae and these three founders of the Black Lives Matter organization who ain't nothing but hustlers. What needs to be examined is black toxic feminism. Y'all stop that. We got your back, just like you've always had ours. And who's black? Big ups to Brother Hameen, who shared this from a book that he's currently reading called Sellout, The Politics of Racial Betrayal by Randall Kennedy. This is an excerpt from chapter 1. The devil fashioned the one-drop rule out of racism, malice, greed, lust, and ignorance. But in doing so, he also accomplished good. His rule created the African American race as we know it today. And while this race had its origins in the peoples of three continents and its members can look very different from one from another, over the centuries the devil's one-drop rule united this race as a people in the fight against slavery, segregation, and racial injustice. The one-drop rule helped to funnel into one racial camp people who might otherwise have been splintered. It is because of the one-drop rule that some of the most significant leaders among African Americans are considered black or Negro despite their white ancestry. Here I think immediately of Frederick Douglass, W.E.B. Du Bois. I'm going to add Adam Clayton Powell Jr. to that. Long denounced as a method for protecting whites against the taint of Negro blood, the one-drop rule is now embraced by some devotees of black unity as a way of reinforcing solidarity and discouraging exit by blacks who might otherwise prefer to reinvent themselves racially. Now, there are some that are doing that. It's with this, there's a movement about a year ago, within the last couple of years, by some mixed race people to have themselves classified as a biracial group, separate from the black community. Y'all cut that mess out. I'm Patrice Gibbs. Oh shoot, there we go. On WHGE 95.3. This is The Open Eye.
What's up, what's up to my homie? No, I'm glad you gotta watch it, because I don't wear that, you know what I'm saying? I don't put nothing on the on there, got a clock. Yeah. What's good, homie?
What's good, brother? I'm running a little late myself.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
That rain yesterday.
Yeah, and other things. And this morning was crazy. And got the new setup in here going on.
Okay, all right. I see the boy trying to do.
Yeah, yeah. Let me see what we got in here. Are y'all camera? Let's see, get in there. Might have to change it.
You want to just get the mic, just get the mic, and you got a better view. Okay. You can cut the mic out. The mic is not a
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right. Hi. Okay. Okay. You know, I leave it to the mic. Now you in there? That's where I put the mic up. Yeah. All right.
So I sound good coming in too. I was listening to you. Yeah, you know, they always try to ask stuff with our group. Man.
You know, that's where it is.
They take a little bit of fire away from our calls.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, what's good? What's good?
All right, the open eye. And as usual, I'm joined by my partner in consciousness, Nsoromma,
Yeah.
intellectual surgeon, ready to hit your side of your head.
That's what we do.
Yes, indeed. This is what we do, y'all. I'm telling you. Now, of course, he, on his way in, he was listening to what I was saying about how they tried to split us up and what have you, with the LGBT stuff and, what we're actually fighting for.
Right.
Let's not get it mixed. And I tell you what, I'm going to move from that. Something that we had been discussing, of course, police brutality and how to deal with it, what to do about these race soldiers when they commit crimes against our people, is of course the topic. Some municipalities are removing police immunization rights and what have you, and oh boy, that's a real mess and what have you, and of course some of these police race soldiers are taking it hard, and what they're doing is they're quitting. Oh, we can't choke out black people. We can't abuse them. Oh, I don't want to be a cop. What do you think I joined the police force for? Okay, well, bye, Felicia. Go to hell on. You ain't need to be on the police force to begin with. Get rid of your ass. No problem with that. And I picked up on an article. We should take police brutality settlements out of cop pension funds. And I like that. Damn right. Take their money. They do something shaky, take their damn money. That's one of the things that Nsoromma always supports.
Definitely dig in their pocket.
Dig in their pocket.
I'd rather take a couple racks from you than to punch you in your eye.
I heard that. I heard that.
That's the way I really feel.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and give it to the law.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because it's police brutality is a formality. They kicking our ass and then we paying for their salary. That don't work. Take the damn money. By all means, take the damn money. Yeah, that's right. Now, his police reform, Brother Charles Robinson, one of my Facebook cousins, he said police reform should include the following: civilian review boards, overall police department over a certain size, mandatory use of body cameras. All footage would be periodically reviewed regardless if there's a reported incident or not. And I like that part. Regardless if there's a reported incident or not. Because a lot of the dirt that these race soldiers put down, sometimes it don't even get reported.
Right.
It goes down and, don't nobody say nothing.
It goes down and the black goes down.
And the black goes down.
It's just that simple.
That's word. Annual published third-party audits of police departments, including body cam footage, arrest statistics, use of force reviews, and evaluation on who's ticketed and for what. Now that's important because you got a lot of, especially like small towns and what have you. All right, their ticket money is what supports their economy. Oh, don't go driving through that town and be black. They're going to fine you for being black on a sunny day. You know, and next thing you know, you got a $200 fine for riding through their community being black.
Right, doing 1 mile over the speed limit or 1 mile under the speed limit.
That's
Or
what.
turn without a signal. I mean, little teeny things to trap you and to trap us. That's messy.
Big time. It's calling for the elimination or curtailing of police unions. And that's a damn good idea, because these police unions, you know, every time something go down, they got a lot of money, they hire lawyers, and they make a lot of noise. And they are permeated with a bunch of racists and Klansmen, and they need to go. And at least at least a portion of any judgment against a police officer to come out of the pension fund, which we mentioned earlier. Once that starts to take a hit, you can be damn sure they'll start policing each other then. And that money start coming out them pension funds. They'll be like, yo, y'all got to cut this crap out. You cutting into the money. Ain't nothing that make you act funny than some money. In some instances, better pay, more accountability should be rewarded with proper compensation. Yeah. You know, we were talking earlier about how to handle yourself when you're behind enemy lines. And when I say you're behind enemy lines, I see brother Vaughn mentioned that civilian review boards with subpoena power. That's important. That's important.
True.
You know, you get them civilian review boards, if they don't have any power to call all these police up and say, hey, the hell you was doing? Because we think you did some dirt here and we need to go over this.
We think you did. We know you did some dirt.
Yeah. So you need to bring your ass in here and fess up.
Right now.
Right now. And see what you done did. All right. Like I was saying, though, get behind enemy lines. You have to know how to conduct yourself when, you know, they want to put the cuffs on you. You know, and a lot of us, we and I understand, because it's a frightening thing to get the cuffs put on you and think that you're going to jail. You know?
Did you not the change the subject a little bit, but they are really attacking our kids. And I seen this cartoon the other day, right? And it was this big giant police officer, white police officer, all muscle, strong.
I saw
I'm talking about, and it was a little baby.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
And the little baby was standing out on the corner. I mean, I can't help but to giggle about it because I'm so mad. I want to, you know, snap about it.
Right.
So sometimes you just gotta laugh it off because at that time you don't want to react because you could kill somebody.
Right.
So okay, boom. The whole cartoon was based around the police brutality that they doing to our kids, and then they made a joke out of it.
You know, the kid crying and this, that, and the other.
This was a little teeny baby. And the police, first of all, the baby wasn't doing nothing but sitting on waiting for the bus to come for his school. And the cop came down the street and was like, "Hey,
yeah, I saw that. And
come here! No!
Yeah.
Get down! No! You resisting!
Get resisting! I feel frightened. Boom!
Yo!
You know, and now that example looks extreme, but it's real.
You're right.
It's real.
Right.
You know?
And that's what I'm saying.
Yep. And that really goes in line with what I'm saying right here. You know, and once again, I want to thank Brother Hameen for, there are generally 3 reasons why a police officer would stop you on the street. The police officer wants to make a conversation. Yeah, right. That happens all the time.
I don't talk to the police. I don't have nothing to say to the police.
I
don't even speak to the police. I wave at them.
Yeah.
You know, I don't verbally communicate with them until I need to.
Yeah. Well, they just might want to ask you how your day is going.
And I say I wave.
Yeah, I heard that. Now, the police is investigating you if there's a probable cause. You know, example, if you're connected to a crime. The police officer is arresting you. You will know if you're getting arrested because a police officer legally has to tell you that you're being arrested. If you get arrested, you have to tell the police your name and address. In all circumstances, you have the right to ask the officer why you are being arrested, investigated, approached, or detained. And the officer must tell you unless the situation is obvious. For instance, you just came running out of the bank with the bag.
And that ain't obvious because it could be my bag. So
You
they
know?
always throw little tricks and treats inside of the process of locking you up.
Like,
So
but remember, STFU.
yes, shut
The F up.
That's right.
You always have the right to remain silent, although staying silent can create suspicion and escalate the situation, as a lot of instances can end with discussion. False arrest can also violate a person's 14th Amendment to the right to due process and the person's 8th Amendment right not to be subject to cruel or unusual punishment. Shut up.
Right.
Ask if you're being detained. If you're being detained, okay, well, let's
Shut
go.
up, give them your ID, your name and address, and just go sit down for the 72 hours that you have to, you know, they have that they have power to hold you for 72 hours.
Right.
So go ahead and sit down for 72
sit
hours.
down,
If you don't have a criminal, if you ain't committed a crime,
Right.
you should be able to be released on your own OR after 72 hours.
Right. You know, and don't get all emotional and afraid because they put the cuffs on you.
Right.
Because
I would rather the cuffs than the billy club or the gunshot or the taser. I'm asking for the cuffs first because I don't really like confrontations. I'm a Gemini and I can flip from 0 to 200 and 2,000. It's a number I can't even say. So
I heard that.
I have to watch myself. You know what I mean?
That, brother.
For real.
You know, and I tell you, you know, and like I said, you get all emotional. The goal is to go home alive. That's the goal. The goal is to go home alive.
To enjoy your family like they want to do.
You know, just like they want to do. You know, they can take off that uniform. You can't take off this skin.
Or you can't take out that bullet that killed you.
That's word. That's word. So maintain your calm and understand that we are at war. You're behind enemy lines. Name, rank, and serial number.
And this is what I noticed too. We go above octave when we talk. We have to stay calm. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they do. They want us to react to them on a higher octave. Well, you're kind of loud. Can you calm down? No, I talk loud. I talk aggressive, and I'm a nice guy. So just because the vibe that you get from my voice doesn't mean I'm going to kill you.
Right. You know, we're spiritually, you know, animated people, and that's just who we are. You know, so they're easily threatened. So, like I said, maintain your calm. This is the Open Eye. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
I'm Nsoromma, WHGE 95.3 FM. Yeah. Yo, Tanya, what's good? Hey, yo, hey, Mark. When we got the food, man? I need some food. What's happening? hey, yeah, Raga. I hit you when we get off the radio. You know what I'm saying? I call you. Hey, yo, you still in Jamaica? I hit you. Hey, yo, we streaming in Jamaica, son. Hey,
how about that?
Spread that thing. Good looking, Rob.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right.
Right.
Yeah, I see my co-worker in there today, Bessie. Big up, Bessie. That's word. Thank you for joining us. Yeah.
And once again, I want y'all to go pick up my book. You know what I'm saying?
Explicit Notions of a Born Rebel.
That's right. Go get that. Support. You know what I mean? Support is better than anything. And you can really get into our head. You dig?
WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye, with Nsoromma.
Yeah.
And myself,
Patrice. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Now, first, before I get into this, what I got right here. NFAC.
That's an organization I wouldn't mind meeting.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know what NFAC stands for, it stands for Not Effing Around Coalition.
Believe it. And it's not a terrorist organization.
No, it is not.
They are not the Klan.
And they are not the Black Panther.
Right, and they are
Okay.
not the Black Panthers or Black Lives Matter.
Nope.
They are legally intelligent gun owners.
That's what they are. Now, they got a lot of publicity because what they do is they provide security for the black community. So they heard that, there was going to be some attacks on the black community. So they made a show of force. And they made a show of force at Stone Mountain, Georgia.
That's right.
Like how I said that, Georgia.
Georgia.
Yeah, okay.
Listen, the numbers is everything.
Mm-hmm.
If we talk in numbers instead of talking one person make a difference for that number to be gigantic.
Mm-hmm.
So if we all have to think like this is not just a coalition that's just there. You are that coalition. You have that right. If you don't have any type of blemishes on your record or anything, you can do exactly what they're doing.
Exactly.
And sometimes you can be a felon and then do your time and
turn your record around.
Pay your when you go to jail, you paying
your dues.
Right, you paying your dues and your servitude for whatever it was that you had done, and your time is served, and now you come out and you start over as a fresh new citizen, and with the proper paperwork and the right information, you can become a legal citizen to carry a gun, because that's the only time. Did you know that the only time that we are considered a citizen is when we can defend ourselves?
Yeah.
And if we don't have a gun or the protection, the knowledge of knowing that we can carry this is a all human right.
Mm-hmm.
There, I didn't say black.
No.
I said an all human right.
Yeah.
I'm not black. I'm a human.
Mm-hmm.
So when they say black and white and all that, I hear them, but I'm really from the human species. I don't have a color to my spirit.
Okay.
I may look black and act black and sound black, but mentally I'm invisible.
Okay.
Because I'm a spirit.
Okay.
Within this soul.
I feel you.
Within this body structure.
Yeah.
So,
well, like I was saying, they went to Stone Mountain, Georgia, where the largest
Klan population.
Well, the largest monument in honor of the Klan is the monument that has Confederate President Jefferson Davis, Robert E. Lee, and Stonewall Jackson.
But I'm saying, how is America still
celebrating the Confederacy?
If it was a Muslim that, like the 911, they blaming it on the Muslims and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
It was a point where Muslims and Arabic people couldn't even come in America without them being looked at funny.
Right.
But they got the Ku Klux Klan
and the
Confederacy, and they live in America, and they not terrorists. They terrorists. They domestic terrorists.
That's what they are. And the Confederacy, let us never forget that the Confederacy were traitors to America. That's exactly what they were. Wow. And so there should never be monuments. This is the only country in the world where they put up monuments the traitors
and murderers
to America are allowed to put up monuments. That's ridiculous.
I don't remember any of the 3 men in back of us doing any murders to better our lives in the community, black community.
No. They were not traitors to America. And this is what the Confederates are. They are traitors to America. They should never, ever be celebrated. They should be put there. See, it makes me go back to what I was saying a couple of weeks ago. In Nazi Germany, there are no statues of Hitler in Germany nowadays. Hitler was looked at as a monster.
No, right. It shouldn't be. So
they're not celebrating them.
You got to think what type of person you are to be celebrating somebody that murders and just cause havoc everywhere they go, and every person that they come in contact with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
And speaking of every person they come in contact with, especially when they come in contact with black people,
right,
is the dangerous, what they're calling now parents. I always call them Becky. But white women that want to call the police on black people for nothing. See, white people have weaponized, I feel threatened, just the way they have weaponized the police. Now, a couple of weeks ago, this bird watcher in the park told this Karen, this Becky, Karen, whatever you want to call her, that she had to put her dog on release. Oh, she lost her mind and she's going to call the cops. I'm being threatened by a big black man. Now she's being charged because a lot, I think it's in San Francisco, where they actually have submitted a bill to city ordinance that if you call 911 for racial reasons, to weaponize the cops, and I think they're calling it the Karen law, you're going to jail for that. So in New York, this Karen, she's been charged with making a false call for a call trying to weaponize the cops. The crazy thing is, the dude that she called the cops on, okay, Christian Cooper, who's no relation.
He ain't relation. That ain't no relation to me.
Oh no, hell no.
Yeah, yo, no, I don't know.
No relation to this.
He is no blood kin.
That's word, no kin. Okay, he's an avid bird watching, an LGBT member. Not that should make a difference, but anyway, sometimes it tells you about his motivation. He said he was not going to participate in the prosecution of this Karen, because Central Park Karen, because she's been punished enough.
Yeah, right. He probably was in the park looking at her the whole time, stalking her.
You know,
he sound like he's stupid.
Absolutely.
That's what he sound like.
Absolutely.
I don't understand.
You know,
if they would have got there and gave him a couple Rodney King hickeys, and he would have wanted the press charges, he probably wouldn't have done it, because I mean, that's crazy.
I like the way you said that. A couple of Rodney King hickeys. You know, and you know this Negro opinion for giving her, for potentially putting his life in danger. He's irresponsible. If race soldiers had shown up, he could have been killed
instantly.
Letting her off is no deterrent for her or the next Becky that pulls this dangerous stunt. She had no regard for his life whatsoever. Has he no knowledge of the history of lying white female racists?
Right.
Shame on this Negro opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Tills, one.
Yeah.
I mean, we can say names all day for situations like that went totally bad. And yo, man, we have to wake up more than one way. I mean, we have to wake up and be, first of all, cognizant and observant of our detail and the detail in our lives, because we don't appreciate the minute that we have, because you can die in the next minute. So you be thankful for that minute, man.
Damn right. And you know what we also have to understand and realize when we're dealing with these Karens is that historically they are amongst the most dangerous white supremacists. For one thing, they raise and nurture white supremacists. And another thing, their history of white supremacy dates back to before America. There was, in the late 1600s, they had what was called the Casual Killing Act. It stated that it was okay to kill a black if you were correcting them without one being charged for a crime. Seems like it's still taking place today.
Right, and that was in slavery time.
That was in slavery time.
When they was considered not a citizen. Yep. So when they freed you and they made you a citizen and they only can lock you up because you ain't had nowhere to go for laundering, they turned you back into that slave through the prison system.
Right. Well, you know, let me deal with why they came up with the Casual Killing Act.
Right.
They came up with the Casual Killing Act to protect white women who were murdering black children, and or in some cases biracial children, because the slave master was raping the female slave on the plantation, and these white women were killing them. They were beating them, killing the kids, beating them to death under the guise that they were correcting them for something they did or whatever. You know, and that's why they had to come up. So this tells you that they have a history of being very, very dangerous to our people.
I mean, when you kidnap a person and take them home and then expect them to not poison your food while they feeding you, you gotta be crazy to think that anyway.
That's what, you know. And I tell you, like I said, these these people are very dangerous, and we have to be cognizant of what we're dealing with and how irresponsible it is not to step up when you're put in that situation, like this dude, this bird watcher in New York, who and see, that's another thing. Stop being so forgiving. One of the things that Dr. King said, nothing is less forgiving than willful ignorance. Willful ignorance. You know? Don't be hugging up on your oppressor. Don't be being forgiving with people that mean us harm. Like when their brother, what was his name? Both in John, when his killer was convicted and they only gave her 10 years, and his brother gonna go jump up and hug her.
You know, his brother probably didn't even like him anyway.
That's a damn shame. That's a damn shame. That's what they all know. No,
his
not
brother
be
probably
forgiven.
ain't even talk to him.
How about that? How about that? You know, that's just the craziest. Like I said, don't forget what we are actually dealing with out here. Don't let them get us distracted from the mission. But still,
and plus you got to be aware of the good ones. I mean, we're not saying every white person is bad or every black person is bad. It's the same thing. I mean, you got to be aware and of, okay, if you with the cause, you tell your white buddies about the cause. You calm them down. Other than that, I mean,
you know what the thing is, it ain't enough of them. But
right, it ain't enough of them.
We still dealing with what we dealing with. Stay safe.
Yeah. Yo, what's up, Edie? Hey, yo, that's Pat. Yo, what's good?
Oh, that's bored. Yeah, let me switch some stuff up in here. I can't even know what the hell was going on. Sorry. Close it down. I was late.
Me too.
That Rona
That's right.
by Nsoromma.
Nsoromma topic. YouTube. Listen now.
All right. Let me tell you something. You know, they have this thing that they want us to not deal with our past with slavery and what have you. Even though they don't want to, they still want to run around talking about the Confederate War or as they call it, the War of Northern Aggression. But they don't want to talk about they want us to talk about the dirt they did to us. Let me tell you something. Slavery wrote terror, degradation, and pain on my back. So I can't forget. I can't forget because I feel it. My grandmother's screams of anguish when they sold her son haunt my dreams. I feel it. My grandfather's confusion, loneliness, and fear when he was sold away placed havoc with my self-esteem. I feel it. My father's wounds from the overseer's lash burn whenever I sweat. I feel it. My sister's moans of humiliation as she was raped by the slave master fills me with an anger from which there is no solace. I feel it. My brother's fear and weakness caused him to turn me into the slave catcher when I tried to run away. It broke my heart. I feel it. And it's there every day. I can't forget. Like I always tell you, destiny determines who enters your life, but you decide who stays. Therefore, value those who value you, and don't treat those as a priority that treat you as an option.
Right, true.
This is Open Eye. I'm Patrice Gibbs.
I'm Nsoromma, WHGE 95.3 FM. Yeah. Yo, what's up, Otto? Chillin'. Nisha, I see you. That's what's good.
Right.
Ah,
Thanks for joining us on the Open Eye.
open eye. Yo, be safe next Saturday. That's what it is.
We hit
Brah,
hard.
brah, brah.
That's where big us Facebook fans.
Ah,
Facebook family.
yo,
Thank you for joining us.
Yo,
That's where. One love.
one love.